Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. In this video, I want to tell you guys about the new Legion champion system that's going to be coming out in GMS, our server, probably around June or in the middle of the summer, June, July, August, somewhere around there. And I know this is early, but I want to tell you guys my initial thoughts on it before we get all of the specific details about it and how you guys can prepare for it, tell you exactly what it is and stuff like that, because so many people keep asking me about Legion Champion. What should they do? What is it? Can I get a TLDR? All this stuff. So this video is to tell you guys about it, what I think about it, and to give you some advice about it too. So the first thing that I want to let you guys know is that the Union Champion or the Legion Champion system that everyone is talking about is not actually out yet in the Korean MapleStory version. It comes out on January 16th. So on like January 9th or something like that, there's going to be a test server that actually showcases it and we'll get a lot more details. So this is with like early information and we could still know a lot about it even with the early information, but the exact 100% details are not out yet. But the gist of what it is already out, and I'm going to tell you what that is. So first of all, shout out to Orange Mushroom Blog for all the information always. And long story short, Union Champion is a system that they created in the Korean version that's going to come to us in the future. And if you remember a long time ago, let me give you guys like a little bit of a history lesson for those who don't remember. But back in the day, getting a lot of Legion, like regular Legion levels, right? Like 9,300 is still a lot of Legion to this day, but there's a lot of people who have over 9K Legion. It's not like something mind-boggling and like I'm the one in a million who has 9K plus Legion, right? But back in the day, like having 8K Legion or higher than 8K Legion was really hard and really rare because you had to actually train every single character to 200. There were no extreme growth potions. There were like a lot less 2x and a lot less damage in the game and all this stuff. So it was just way harder, right? So they wanted to bring that feeling back in terms of Legion and in terms of funding alt characters. So they created the Union Champion system. So they created a system that is, let's be honest here, this is a multi-month, maybe multi-year long project for a lot of people that play this game. This is not something that could just be done when it comes out and it's like 2 months later you finish. It's not like an event. It's like a new system in the game that will make your character stronger over a very long amount of time, just like Legion, how you keep upgrading your Legion over time and you slowly get stronger and stronger and stronger. So what it boils down to is you need to have at least one character at level 260 and have at least 8K Legion to participate in this and to start working on it. And all you have to do is kill a bunch of bosses across multiple characters. So it starts with Hard Lotus, then it goes to Hard Vihilla, Hard Black Mage, Hard Chosen Saren, and Normal Kalos. So, you know, Hard Lotus, okay, you know, maybe doable across multiple characters. Vihilla, okay, you know, we're getting there. But Black Mage across multiple characters, Hard Saren across multiple characters, and Normal Kalos across multiple characters, that is a whole different beast and requires a massive amount of funding across so many characters. So how it works right now is you can choose 6 champions. That's like the limit so far. You start off with 2, but eventually you unlock more. You create 6 different champions. And every single time you kill the bosses, you get buffs for those champions. And if you were to max out everything, those 6 champions in particular that you choose, not your whole account, just those 6 characters. So you can choose your main and 5 others. They'll have a bonus 30 boss, 15 crit damage, 30 attack, 30 all stat, 30 IED. Now, this might not seem like a lot, but it actually is a lot. So if you compare a character that doesn't have these bonuses versus a character that does, it could be like 10% plus final damage on some characters. So that's a really big difference. And especially when you're really late in the game, late to end game, that's a huge gap. Like that's bigger than like Legacy Gap or Sengoku Badge or all these things that people talk about all the time. So that's actually bigger than that. That's bigger than like familiars. So it's actually really important to get this done as early as possible if you want to be as strong as possible. But that's not to say that you should stop training your main all of a sudden and just spend all of your time on mules. That's not how it works, because star forcing, potentials, leveling up your main, all this stuff, getting frags on your main, maxing on your frags will still give you more damage than this. Basically, the way that I understand this is more of like a late to end game activity. If you're not somebody who has a character that's like 285 plus, full 22, to be honest with you, if you don't have a character that's at least strong enough to solo normal Kalos, like the missions imply, I wouldn't bother creating a bunch of other characters for the time being. I would only really sweat this and consider working on it like actively once you have a main that's super strong. Real quick, guys, I want to tell you about the channel's sponsor, Zenless Zone Zero. This is an action RPG game made by MiHoYo, the same developers that made Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail. To be completely honest with you guys, I always ask my community on stream if I should take a sponsorship, and when they heard I got one from Zenless Zone Zero, it was genuinely so shocking how much they wanted me to take it. I played this game myself, and unironically, it was fun. This is coming from someone who played pretty much only MapleStory for the last 6 years plus. The character designs are sick, and the combat is actually really fun and flashy. Each character has unique moves and combos and ultimate abilities. I pulled this one character called Miyabi, and the chat exploded saying how lucky I was. So many people love the game in the chat, and you could try it yourself by downloading it with the link in the description. Full transparency as always, guys. The deeper you get into the game, the more it supports me. I always want to keep it real with you guys, and I'm super grateful to be here. I only take sponsors that I personally myself enjoy. So if you want to check it out and consider supporting me, again, click the link in the description and download Zenless Zone Zero. Thanks, and let's get back to the video. So now that we know what the Legion Champion system is, right? Like you just create a bunch of characters and you fund them a whole lot. I plan to make a bunch of different funding guides specifically for Legion Champion, show you guys how I'm preparing my Legion Champion characters, all that stuff. This is more of just like an initial thoughts about the subject type video, but just to show you guys some of what I'm doing. Realistically here, if we're gonna kill normal Kalos in the end and hard Saren in the end, we need a lot of Sacred Force, right? So you need to do a lot of dailies and you need to level up. All this really boils down to is, are you able to train a bunch of side characters? Because if you want to be able to kill those hard bosses, you need to be a high level and you need to have a lot of Sacred Force, right? The gearing itself isn't really like the big hurdle that you have to overcome to do the Legion Champion system. It's more like you have to level your side characters and get them to a really high Sacred Force as well. So what I've been doing is I've been preparing Meso drop gear on my alts. Like my Night Lord and my Lara, they have max Meso drop gear so that when I do train them eventually, they'll be able to get a ton of fragments and they'll be able to get a ton of resources as I train them. Because if you really think about it, if you're going to solo normal Kalos, you're going to want to be at least 275, probably level 280 across these champion characters. And if you're training your alt from like 260 to 280, obviously you want Meso drop gear, and the amount of Meso that you get just from training will give you enough to fund the gear to be strong enough. So you don't even necessarily have to save Mesos at all. You can just get the Meso drop gear on the character, and then once you're ready to train it, all the money that it'll accumulate just from training itself will be able to fund itself to be able to clear and Kalos and get full 22 and stuff like that. There's a lot of money to be had from 260 to 280, like hundreds of billions, plus all the weekly bossing meso you get as well. So for me, I'm not thinking about this like, oh, I need to save like 800 billion mesos by June, July, and so that I could fund these characters right away. I'm not thinking about it like that. I'm just thinking about it as like, I need to get Meso drop gear on these guys so that when I do train them, they'll be strong enough. And also all the frags they get along the way, that'll make them way stronger, obviously. But the thing that I am doing to prepare is I'm trying to get these characters to at least 235 as quickly as possible. The champions that I personally have in mind that I want to do is obviously my main, my Fire Poison, my Night Lord, my Lara, my Dual Blade, and my Kali, because those are some of my favorite classes, and some of them are just already prepared. Like, I don't necessarily love Night Lord, but it's already prepared with max drop gear, Meso gear, symbols, all that stuff, so like might as well do it. It's a free character to do it. Part of me wants to do Cadena as well, but honestly I might be changing my mind here and there as it gets closer and closer. But long story short, what I'm doing is I'm trying to get these characters to 235 at least, so I could start doing dailies on them, because the earlier you start doing your dailies like Golux and Arcarium and Arcane River dailies, the better. Like, you don't want to start doing this and you have 0 symbols, you have 0 nothing. You at least want to have your symbols done so that the only thing you really have to do is train the character. Basically, I'm putting myself in a position where all I have to do is train the character. Like my Night Lord, for example, has max Meso drop gear and has max Arcane River symbols. So literally all I have to do if I want to turn this into a champion is to go train it. I don't have to worry about doing anything else, anything on the side. I just have to go train it, and then with all the money that it gets and the levels, kills and the frags, it'll be strong enough naturally. So that's what I'm doing to prepare. One of the biggest pieces of advice I alluded to earlier is to understand that this system takes a very long time. They specifically said that they want it to take a long time, and they want it to be something that players work on over the course of like potentially years. A lot of people have a different thoughts on this. I think it's a little, you know, like it's Nexon, bro. Like, we obviously know why they want us to fund multiple characters. If you fund multiple characters on your account, especially on interactive world, you're going to be spending a lot more money because you're going to need a bunch of strong characters and they're going to need a bunch of gear. So you're going to have to spend a lot of money on cubes and all this bullshit, right? But on heroic world, the one that I play on, obviously, like, it's not as money oriented, but it still kind of is, because in reality you need vac pet across all these characters because you're going to be training them a lot, so you're going to have to spend more on vac pet, and because you're playing them a lot, you're probably going to get attached to them, so you're probably going to buy NX on them. So like, it really is just a bunch of like, it's like a entire system that's designed to spend you more, to make you spend more on the game, because now you have to have multiple mains essentially. But yeah, another piece of advice I want to give you guys is probably only work on one character at a time. You can easily get burned out. Like, I do dailies across 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 characters every day, and like, it is exhausting. Like, I spend hours doing dailies every day. I don't know, I wouldn't recommend that for a lot of people. If you're able to do it, sure, it'll obviously be good, but it definitely burns you out quickly. Anyways, those are like my initial thoughts about this. If you have any questions, definitely leave it below, and look forward to a lot more Legion Champion related videos, like funding guides, tier lists, bossing accomplishments, all that type of stuff, because this is going to be the future of the game, where you need to have multiple mains, and that's just how it is. Whether you love it or hate it, that's just how it is for the time being, unless, you know, Inkwell says, no, I don't want to do this. But who knows? Anyways, if this video helped you out or anything like that, maybe consider helping me out by subscribing, coming to the Twitch channel. Obviously, check out Zenless Zone Zero. It's actually pretty cool. And with that all being said, I appreciate you guys for watching, and have a wonderful day. Thank you so much to my members: Blazefire, Shooms, Shagad, Ravi Espa, Koga, Piconir, Skittles, Dante Victory, CK, J, Blunt Poppy Supreme Oil Backwards, Vampiric X, Fresh and Juicy, Assassin, and Migu. I appreciate you guys so much, and shout out to everyone who submitted fan art. If you always want to submit fan art, it's in the Discord linked below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a wonderful day.